call me crazy, but I think it's actually wild as fuck for y'all to be asking us to donate to the future farmers of America when if they voted the right way, the money that they were getting previously, they would still be getting, and they wouldn't be out here penny pinching poor people for money. You won't get my change. I voted for you to get money. You voted against it. Good luck in the future.
I've never in my life faced a time, and I've been farming since 1993 on my own, where the outlook is so bleak financially.
In a year where crops have been tested by Mother Nature, the toughest test may lie just ahead for farmers. Harvest begins across Arkansas, but for farmers like Cliff Carter, the challenge will happen after.
This is the first time in my life farming that I still have crop in my bins that I can't sell.
Despite a good crop this year, Carter says the prices they get for those crops won't cover expenses. He's not alone. Ag America reported in March the agricultural trade could reach a record trade deficit. Carter says the price for crops has dropped drastically.
Basically, what we're getting out a bushel of corn or a bushel of rice would be like you making $5 an hour and trying to pay your bills at home. In today's time, we can't do it.
Carter says farmers face challenges from several angles. Earlier this year, tariffs were imposed on U.S. exports. Carter said while businesses can fight tariffs by raising their prices, the reality is not the same for farmers.
We can't do that. Our price, the price is set for us is global market.
He said those tariffs are costing farmers their biggest customers.
Mexico and China are the two biggest rice buyers for the United. They buy more rice off of us than anyone, and when they stop buying rice, we have nowhere to go with the rice.
Carter said it's not just tariffs. The rise in global competitors like Brazil is also hurting farmers. Selling domestically is an option, but
I was offered $3.90 a bushel for rice last week to make dog food out of. That won't even cover my seed cost hardly.
Agriculture is a $20 billion industry in Arkansas. Carter fears that failure for farmers won't just stop with them.
It won't be a trickle-down effect. It will be like flushing a toilet if the ag industry collapses.
Carter says farmers need help from the government to help bridge the gap between the cost of producing crops and selling them.
Well, Lord have mercy. You know, when they said racism is expensive, this is the story. This is the FAFO season for sure. Like, no, this can't be made up. Like, I don't even know how to quantify this level of dululu. Because you guys voted in 2024 no to handouts. You said no to government handouts. No. And then all of a sudden, Trump said, yeah, I'm going to keep my promises just like I told you I was going to do it. And now you guys are going bankrupt. You guys are begging for help, begging for people to save the future of American farmers, begging for subsidy. Meanwhile, black farmers are the only farmers that are immune to whatever these people are suffering. Black farmers are immune because we are never given any farming subsidies in the first place. So they had found a way to, till their farms, to cater to the needs of their farms and stuff like that, right? They never depended on the government. But you guys voted no to government handout, and now that is directly affecting you. You guys are literally on the streets begging people that help to vote against what you guys voted for. They voted to save your farm, they voted to save your Medicare, they voted to save your Social Security, whatever. They voted to literally save you from ruining yourselves. But you said no, I would rather take the road of racism. Someone said they are getting all they voted for. That's their biggest slogan. We are getting all we voted for. Like this time, no, it's gonna be a long year for sure. It's gonna be a long year, and this is just the beginning. Guys, these times are really going really crazy. Guys, what do you think? Because at this point, are we just gonna watch these people like they're gonna keep on welling? But the sad thing is, it's affecting every one of us, right? Because by the time these foods start getting bad and they are becoming so expensive, of course it's gonna affect every one of us. You see, that's what happens when a particular group decides to, be, you know what I mean. So guys, please drop your thoughts in the comment of what you think about this situation, because at this point they are begging you and they are begging for everyone to save the future of American farmers and help them get back the subsidies, the farming subsidies that they voted against. So guys, drop your thoughts in the comments.
Almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year. And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year. If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Good morning. What do they say? Racism is expensive.
5 or 30% of the farmers in this country, if they don't do something, it has to be done, and it's not just here, it's everywhere.
Farmers are making a cry for help before it's too late. Countless farmers gathered to speak to representatives of Arkansas leaders to share the urgency that something needs to be done about the current state of farming. Jake Tester was at the meeting and now joins us in the studio with more. Jake.
Many farmers spoke up at the meeting, and the message was straightforward. They need help, and they need it now.
Mr. Trump, he looked at me, sir, and he said, I love you. Mr. Trump, I need to see the fruit of your love.
Farmers in crisis align way out the door of the Woods Chapel Baptist Church in Brooklyn as hundreds of farmers from not only Northeast Arkansas, but from across the state came to voice their concerns about the current state of farming. Representatives from U.S. Congressman Rick Crawford, U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, and U.S. Senator John Boozman's offices were in attendance to hear those concerns. Among those farmers in attendance was a farmer in Woodruff County, Chris King. He told me this was his 39th harvest, and he has never seen it as bad as this.
And I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
For King, the main problem starts with the fact that they can't sell for profit.
I just would like to see somebody help us get our markets back. We need our exports, and we just need to be paid for what we do. And that's not happening. And we're in real trouble.
But that is not the only issue. King's wife, Melissa King, and farmer in Biggers, Arkansas, Scott Brown, said they are struggling to afford the cost that is needed just to take care of the farm.
The prices that we're getting now are prices like they were when we were children, and what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now. I mean, the price of a combine when we were kids was, in the 20,000s, and now it's 100,000.
I farm 800 acres by myself. I can't afford any help. I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. How's the guys farming 5,000 and 10,000 with 20 hands and $1 million combines and $1 million drills going to make it work?
But for Brown, there is something that rounds out all the issues that they are facing: the tariffs.
I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm. When you try to sell a product, okay, U.S. soybeans leaving New Orleans without the tariff to China are cheaper than Brazilian soybeans at the current market. But when you put the tariff on top of them, Brazilian beans are cheaper.
So how can this be fixed?
In the short term, they have no choice but to mail us a check. I don't know a farmer that likes the check program. Nobody wants to take taxpayer dollars, but nobody wants to go broke. Nobody wants to lose everything. Long term, we have to have options, markets, and places to sell our product.
Guarantee you they not getting no bailout. They showed us, didn't it?
From beekeepers to soybean to hay producers, all of them are starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where
it's about $250,000 to $300,000 worth of revenue.
Just left to rot.
Yeah, which is one thing, but it's also lost revenue for the workers that would have been able to pick them had they been here.
Oregon farmer Ian Chandler says about half his usual crew didn't show up this season, leaving him scrambling to backfill dozens of positions.
You're calling them, I assume, individually
yes.
and saying,
yes.
what's going on?
Yes. And so
what are they telling you?
Well, in the beginning of the season, it coincided, unfortunately, with a lot of really strong immigration enforcement down in Southern California, where our workforce comes from. And that kind of had a chilling effect on people wanting to move.
While Ian says his workers are hired with what seemed to be a valid ID and work papers, fear of ICE raids kept many of them from traveling north this year.
This Republican farmer in Florida is finding out the hard way. W is a lifelong strawberry farmer in Central Florida and a proud supporter. He lives in a deeply conservative area where stupid flags fly in the heat and stupid stickers cover just about every single mailbox. But now, W is quietly admitting that something's wrong because the immigration policies that he voted for, they're now destroying his farm. W says he supports the president, but he's struggling to stay afloat. And like most farmers, he relies on migrant labor. The exact kind of labor that's now disappearing thanks to the harsh immigration crackdowns from the guy he voted for. A lot of workers have left. The rest are hiding. And W says he's been forced to cut back because he doesn't have the workforce anymore. He used to hire a mix of undocumented workers and H-2A visa holders, but with the understandable fear of deportation growing and the cost of H-2A workers going up, he's stuck. He can't afford to bring in more help, and he won't risk hiring undocumented workers anymore. It's like, W, it's time to pack it up. If your farm needs cheap labor to survive, your farm shouldn't be around anymore. And of course, W says there needs to be an easier path to legalization for longtime immigrant workers. And it's like he still supports the Republican Party, even though they're the absolute last people to want that to happen. He says, they've been here, raised their families. I know there's bad seeds, but there's bad seeds everywhere. W, you voted the actual bad seeds into the White House, and they're the ones controlling the policies that are directly screwing you over. He says he fully supports the president, but he's worried about the future of his farm. Supporting a criminal over your own livelihood? Don't expect us to have any sympathy for you, W. He also says DeSantis and Trump might be riding them a little bit too hard. You think, W? That's quite the understatement. You wanted the crackdown, W. And now you're finding out the hard way.
In one of my videos, I said about 5% of Americans are farmers and they can literally feed the world. Just like that farmer said, his biggest markets are China and Mexico. So now because of the tariffs, he can't even get across or he can export all his rice. People are now basically coming to buy it for $3.99, like just for a little, brothel, It's crazy, and he said he has never experienced anything like this. Yeah, of course, you're not going to experience it. Meanwhile, 70% of these farmers voted for this, voted for no to government handouts. And now you guys are literally begging for welfare because that's what it means, So it's kind of crazy, I was saying things before that whatever happens in America, whether you want to believe it or not, it's going to affect the rest of the world, because now the Chinese and the Mexicans can't get their rice because of the tariffs, right? And it's going to cost us, and things are going to be way more expensive. Like I was saying, my country imports a lot of American stuff, China and some other countries like that. So now with these farmers crying wolf, it's going to affect the prices of food items, not just in America, but in countries where they import stuff from America. So now because of the tariffs, people are not going to be able to, import and export. This is a situation we are all in. It's not just about America. When black people were busy warning you, these things are going to happen, people thought, oh, black people are just being ignorant because they desperately wanted Kamala, the first black, woman, to become president. We are not going to vote for her. We're not going to do this. Even when they said, no, it's not even just about her. It's just about getting the basic necessities of what we need, right? And now here you are crying, begging all over the place for people to help you save your farms, to help you give money, to help you with welfare, tell the government to drop down the tariffs. Trump is not going to do that because that was what Trump told you. Trump told you exactly what he was going to do. And now he's fulfilling all his promises. Why are you guys acting as if you were tricked or you didn't understand the whole policies? He told you vividly this is what he was going to do. And now he's delivering on his promises. And you guys are running helter and skelter, begging for people, begging for any kinds of farming handouts so that you guys can have your farm produce, exported or, it's just crazy. I really feel bad for these farmers because they've lost so much money and they're still losing. I really empathize with them in a way, but this is what you voted for and you're getting everything you voted for. So guys, if you have come this far in this video, kindly hit on the subscribe button, hit on the like button, and don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments and also share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.